Oh yeah, we're going there. Thank you to our Parliament patrons, Strawbones, Red4765, Midnight Gemlord, Sean, and Artgoon. And a very big thank you to our $25 patron, Alex Rose Eyes. Now, before this breakdown / discussion on how I would take Percival's life, please don't forget to leave your own thoughts on how you would take Percival's life in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, you hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. You support Percival as $1 a month. You like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, let's hop into the discussion. What's up, guys? Welcome to here, and here we are to talk about how I would take the life of our beloved baby boy, Percival. Now, admittedly, this is definitely just an idea that's been floating around in my head for a while. I've kind of been just thinking a lot about how I would execute any of the four knights, and like, not character writing, like literally execute. And that's mainly because like there's this constant idea in the back of my head that for some reason no one's gonna make it to the end. A lot of y'all have been helping perpetuate that. Like, according to y'all, a lot of the knights just don't survive in Arthurian mythology. I've heard mixed things. Like, I heard sometimes it's only Lance who survives, sometimes I heard only Tristan, sometimes I've heard only Percival, and sometimes, actually never, I've heard Gawain. So, legitimately, all the knights definitely do have their own hypothetical ends of life on the horizon. And I think it's most appropriate to start with Percival, considering he's our main character, and he also is, shock horror, the Knight of Death. So, I think it makes sense to talk about him first, and how, hypothetically, he could end up, not doing the living anymore. I guess that's the nicest way to put it. So I think the main way that Percy's going to go out is an act of self-sacrifice. I think that's pretty much just built into his character at this point. I'm not sure what kind of journey Nakaba plans to take Percival on character-wise. He's already had a whole bunch of development from the boy who was so ignorant on the Lord's finger, but still, I think in the end, the long-term journey of Percival is going to be one of self-sacrifice, whether it be for his friends, whether it be for the world, whether it be for the people, anything like that. I think he's definitely going to end up going out in a big old bang to save a whole bunch of people. But the question is how and why. And I think the how is going to relate to his magic. I think whether it be either the despair side of the magic, which we have still very little exploration on. We have no idea about the depths of it. No one even questioned it after it happened. And or the hope side. I'm leaning more towards the hope side. I think it'll be a moment where Percival overcomes despair in the face of hope, or not really, overcomes despair in the face of death, and then births hope out of that despair in order to hypothetically sacrifice himself for many different things. One, it could just be one final group heal. Say, like, hypothetically, everyone is down, Arthur's just styling on them, but it's a really close fight, right? We're getting down and dirty with it. We're really getting rough and tumble with it. But then, you know, everything's running out. Everyone's low on magic. Everyone's nearly, well, pretty much half dead. No one else is really going to be able to heal. Even Tristan himself is out of healing magic. He doesn't have enough juice left in him to heal. And Percy, realizing that this is his final chance to really strike down Arthur, really get revenge for the man who took his grandfather away from him, really save all these people who have fallen under King Arthur's influence, is to give up himself, to sacrifice every last one of him. The Percival platoon will drain out of him, and at mass, like not just a little bit, not just as they do when they explode out of them normally, but they will burst and burst and burst to the point where Percival himself looks like he's falling out, like he's literally aging, he's getting decrepit, just like how he did to Chion's arm. He literally starts to look like that as he sacrifices himself to heal everyone else there, give them a second wind against Arthur, and give them all the rage boost that they need. Because pretty much every other character in the group should benefit from a rage boost, at least I think. Gawain could hypothetically get a rage boost and go into the ultimate one. You could definitely get Lancelot getting a rage boost and awakening, or not even awakening, but using his magic a lot more violently than he did, kind of like how Bond did whenever he got angry. And you could definitely have Tristan, obviously, the son of the rage boost, the son of wrath, bursting in an explosive rage back at full power, and the three strike down Arthur. In the end, with Percival having turned to stone, or maybe turn to stone would be a little bit too cliche, or he could literally just, like, it could be sad, it could be really, really dark, and we just see Percival flat on the ground, aged to oblivion, and slowly just fading away with nothing but his helm and his cape left at the end of the battle. And I think that could be a way to do it. I kind of not rock with that, though, mainly because, like, it takes Percival out of the main battle. Like, sure, he's there in spirit, he's definitely there in, like, his people went in and they saved the world. through his final push, but at the same time, I feel like it's not as like well done. I don't know. It's kind of like it's pretty much how Meliodas and the Seven Deadly Sins were treated in the original series with the final villain of Kath. Like, they were kind of just there to be there. They were there to get jutsu'd and be there. It was really Arthur versus Kath. So the Seven Deadly Sins didn't necessarily have much stake or much impact physically on the final battle against Kath. It was really all Arthur. So I think I would be a little bit uncertain. I wouldn't be the happiest with that kind of self-sacrifice. If anything, I would want like true proper self-sacrifice. Like Percy, at least to me, second to Tristan himself, is someone who I could believe could be the next vessel of chaos. Like if chaos needs to be properly sealed away, like everyone realizes that, oh, you know, King Arthur, he's a bad dude, but the main reason he's a bad dude is because he has chaos, and chaos is influencing him on a massive degree. But we can't let chaos roam free, because then Arthur was kind of acting as an accidental wall. The only reason chaos didn't just reset the world is because Arthur was there playing interference, even if subconsciously. So we need to seal chaos away in something. And obviously, we can't use something like Hawk Mama again, because it knows that it'll be prepared. If it sees anything like that, it won't be ready, or no, it will be ready to counter that and then avoid it. And then we only have one chance to do this. We can only transfer it into one thing. And then Percival, being our main character, being the person all about self-sacrifice, being the Knight of Death, is willing to be the eternal metaphysical death for chaos by sealing him away in a living vessel that will sort of just be locked away forever. And we could have Percy be the conduit for chaos. We see that Percy's powers essentially allow him to do anything just like chaos, except without actual just pure blatant reality manipulation. So I think a good way to have Percival kind of come full circle in that way, have his magic, both the hope and despair of it, come together and really act as the death, really be the Knight of Death, really be the person that ends up directly killing Camelot, killing chaos and all of its hopes and ambitions by taking it into himself and locking himself away. There's a very similar ending to a game that I'm not sure how old is X game that I'm thinking of, that I don't want to spoil. I won't spoil it, but there's a very similar ending. It's not the canon ending, but there's a very similar ending in a popular game that you may know, where the main character ends up acting just as a vessel. Like they're essentially put away in a cage forever, torturously alive. Like they don't perish or anything, but they're in this constant state between life and death, fighting against something that is sealed within them. So yeah, it would be like unbearably dark. I think it would be sad to condemn Percival to nothing but endless agony, battling against chaos's will while sealed away in a dark chamber for the rest of his days. But if we wanted to get dark, and I don't know, I feel like Nakaba could get dark. If we really want to get dark and really make Percival's sacrifice feel like something meaningful and keep him actually involved after self-sacrifice, literally forever, by having him take on the properties of chaos just like Kath and Arthur will, where they're now ageless, legitimately Percival would just have to act as that containment, that seal, for eternity. And then it could be like Lance and Tristan, two of the longest living people, because I think Gawain still would have a human lifespan. She still would die within a reasonable time period, but it would be Tristan and Lance who would watch over him and make sure that no one ever lets him out, because if they do, it could release the possibility of chaos and so on and so forth. And that could be another self-sacrificial way that I see, and I think I'd be pretty fine with that. I think that may be my preferred route, even despite how dark it is and despite how much it like leaves Percival in a dark fate. Like he could never see any of his friends again. He would never be able to do any of that. Chaos could even torture him with that. Like, really? You want to do this? All your friends are going to age and live without you. Like, you're just going to be stuck here endlessly with me for eternity. And then Percival, in the last moment of hope, is like, yeah, I'd do that 1,000 times over for the people who were my hope. And I'll do it now and forever. And then bada bing, bada boom, they go into an eternal battle until the end of days or whatever. I think that could be cool. The final self-sacrifice thing is kind of just like a little bit boring. I think it's the most generic of them. It's where Percy literally just like perishes in battle after striking an equivalent blow to Arthur, both destroying chaos and Arthur in one final big old bow, or like wrapping it up all nice and neat in one big old bow by the scion of chaos taking down the king of chaos, with Percival's magic sort of like locking the two together and acting as a neutralizer. Essentially like how Nobara from JJK, her technique has like a resonance effect. It's literally called resonance, where if they're connected, there's one person, if they're affected, will affect the other thing. By tying Percival into chaos, tying Percival into Arthur, and almost doing like a reverse sword in the stone, where Percival plunges whatever weapon of his into Arthur's chest, Arthur will plunge Excalibur into his chest and they'll be linked, and then Percival will flow all of his despair and yet at the same time take away all of the hope of Arthur in chaos, and then both will end up going. I think that's the final way that I would want to get rid of Percy if I have to get rid of Percy, because I think one way or another his story has to end in either a literal death or a metaphorical death. You don't name him the Knight of Death for nothing. Like, if he really does live to the end, it makes sense. That's the thing. Like, I say you don't want to get rid of him. He's the Knight of Death, but at the same time, he's our MC. So do we really see Nakaba condemning our MC to any sort of, like, totality, any sort of, like, finite, we're done, story over, end? I'm not exactly sure. I am, unfortunately, not Nakaba himself, so it's beyond my jurisdiction. Ironically enough, I'm not sure how he would do it, but I could definitely see Nakaba doing it. Nakaba seems definitely like the kind of guy who would whip that out on us and be like, oh, well, would you look at that, ladies and gentlemen? That's a dark ending for our main character. That's what I'm rocking with. That's what I'm thinking. However, those are my 3 examples of self-sacrifice. Tell me your ideas if you want to self-sacrifice Percy. If you think there's any other ways we could do it. Tell me if you think you even want Percy to go by the end of the series. If you don't want to, tell me why. Tell me why you think he's not going to make it. Other than the main character stuff, you can come up with anything other than that. Tell me all that and more in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. You can support as low as $1 a month. Like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.